guys, thanks for joining me today. I know I'm very late on my book review this month. Just want to say about that is that I really want to set a goal to have a book review up on the 1st of every month, but I don't think that's a very realistic goal for me. Sometimes things just come up in life. As you guys know, I have to have my son's tonsils out, so we've been running around to doctor's appointments. Sometimes I have doctor's appointments, I have a chronic pain illness, and I sometimes don't finish the book I want to review for you guys in time to have it up at the 1st of the month. I could have just picked some random book off the shelf that I've already read that's not fresh on my mind and reviewed it for you, but I really wanted to review this book this month because it was such a good book. So I actually finished this last week and now I'm finally getting some time to review it. This book is called Ghost Among Us, and this is by the world-renowned psychic medium James Van Praagh. As always, I'll give you a little background on the author. James Van Praagh is, like I said, a world-renowned psychic medium. He's had his own television shows. He was actually the co-executive producer of the show The Ghost Whisperer, if you guys have ever seen that show. If not, you should try to see that show. It's actually on Netflix now. That's how I've seen it. It's a very good paranormal show about a psychic medium woman who communicates with ghosts and helps them into the next realm. And he actually helped create that show with a woman named Marianne Winkowski, who is also another really awesome psychic medium, and she wrote some pretty good books too. So James Van Praagh wrote this book as a reaction to an overwhelming amount of emails that he received from the fans of the Ghost Whisperer show. And those fans were asking him, what's fact as far as, the Ghost Whisperer show goes, and what is, fictitious? So he felt he needed to write a book and let us know what exactly goes on as far as being a medium and what happens to us when we die. So in this book, James Van Praagh actually is a very well written author. I have never read a book by him, but I'm so glad that I picked this up. It actually makes me want to pick up other books by him. He actually explains what happens from the moment of death and all the way into the transition into the afterlife. He explains what happens in different kinds of deaths, such as a violent death, a sudden death, a more calmer death, what happens if you're in a coma, etc., etc. That part was kind of harder for me to read because even though I'm into the afterlife and ghost and all that good stuff, death was never an easy subject for me. I'm not a person who has always been around death. I know a lot of people have, but for me, I've never really had anybody very close to me die. And that's odd because by the time you're 30 years old, you think that you would have at least one person, but I have never, so it's weird. But after reading this book, believe it or not, death has become a little bit more of an easier thing to grasp for me. I understand it's not something that I can completely avoid. Nobody can, but hearing what he had to say in this book just makes it so much easier. I will tell you guys right now, everything he says in here is not fact. It's based on what he says that he sees and hears and speaks to spirits, so you have to understand that. It's not paranormal research book about the afterlife. It is based on a medium's beliefs and what he says he communicates. If you guys don't believe in that, you might not want to read it because you might think it's total and utter BS, but I believe him. He states in here instances where he's actually seen people's relatives who have passed on. He's given them messages, and I think that there are gifted people in this life, and they do have the gift to communicate with people who have passed on, so they can give messages to the people who are still here on the earth plane. Speaking of his experiences as a medium, I will tell you there are some things he says in this book that are pretty scary. I'm not easily scared by ghost stories, but there is a story in here he tells about when he was in a monastery. During his earlier life, because he was a medium, and he wasn't sure he wanted to go the route of being a medium because it is kind of scary when you first become one. He decided he wanted to try to be a priest, so he went into a monastery. But the story of what happened with a haunting in there, I'll tell you guys right now, that was one of the scariest things I've ever read. Just scary. Towards the end of the book, he does give us tips on how we can open our minds a little bit more into communicating with spirits if we choose to want to do that. He gives us tips on how to protect ourselves, not just from negative spirits, but also people who give out negative energy towards us, living people. If you have someone who's constantly thinking negative thoughts about you, that will weigh down on your personal spirit and just bring you down, cause you a great deal of depression, physical illnesses. And I do believe that's true. It's what he states in the book. He gives us ways to see that if we have something weighing down on our spirit and how we can cleanse ourselves of that. Being a spiritualist myself, I think that that is a great guide. He also gives us a tiny little ghost hunting guide in the back of the book towards the end, which I think is one of the best well-written ghost hunting guides I've ever read. I have actual books this thick on ghost hunting, okay? But one chapter on going out and seeking communication with spirits as far as the ghost hunting way goes is all we need, really. He just states it matter-of-factly, what you need to bring and how not to bring your cocky attitude with you, which is probably one of the most positive things I've ever read about ghost hunting. There are so many people out there nowadays who are going ghost hunting and just running in there and stalking them and yelling, and it's like, these are people who just don't have their bodies. Why are we yelling at them? James Van Praagh addresses that in this book. Overall, this was a very easy read, so if you guys like easy reads, this is definitely a book you might want to pick up. It was very easy to understand, very well written, only has 211 pages, so I find it's a very small book. You can pick these up on James Van Praagh's website. I will link that in the down bar. If you choose to buy it on his website, he actually will send you an autographed copy. I saw that on his website. I got this on eBay. It's a hardcover book. The ones you buy on the website are softcovered, but hey, you get his autograph. You can also buy these, Borders. Well, not Borders because it's going out of business, but Barnes & Noble. Check around your local bookstores, or you can try eBay too. I highly, highly recommend this for you guys if you want to learn about the afterlife and exactly what ghosts are. Pick it up. It's a great book. Thank you so much for watching today. Comment, rate, and subscribe. If you guys have a book you would like me to read about the paranormal and review for you, just let me know. Thanks. Bye.